Good morning. Welcome to Daily Devotions today for Monday the 8th. Our gospel reading on this week following All Saints Sunday comes from the Gospel of John, and it's the story of the raising of Lazarus. Although, I mean, that's what it's normally called, at least in my mind, I think of it as the story of the raising of Lazarus. But if you were here on Sunday and Saturday, I renamed the story and I was thinking about it in a little bit different way. So we're going to read uh, parts of it this week and kind of work our way through that. Today we're just going to read a part of it and kind of talk about it afterwards. But I'm going to be starting at John 11 and chapter 11, verse 17. Lazarus has already died, and Jesus has been told that, and he wasn't there, and now he's on his way to Bethany to see the family. When Jesus arrived, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb 4 days. Now Bethany was near Jerusalem, some 2 miles away, and many of the Jews had come to Martha and Mary to console them about their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went and met him, while Mary stayed at home. Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that God will give you whatever you ask of him." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha said to him, "I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Those who believe in me, even though they die, will live, and everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" She said to him, "Yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, the one coming into the world." I'm going to stop right there just for now, and I'll move on in just a minute. I have a little footnote or a little note that I wrote here in my Bible that um, must have been a conversation I had with somebody or at seminary. It just said that Martha believes in Jesus, and our faith doesn't rest upon miracles. And I think it's interesting at this point in the text that our faith doesn't rest on miracles. Martha's faith doesn't rest on Jesus doing or giving her what she wants or feels that she needs. And so her faith exists as this sustaining piece of her life in the midst of things she can't understand, in the midst of things when life doesn't work out. And I just wanted to point that out because that's how faith works for us as well in the midst of doubt and death and grief and whatever else we might be going through. And then verse 28. I'll keep going. When she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary and told her privately, "The teacher's here and he's calling for you." And when she heard it, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet come to the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. The Jews who were with her in the house consoling her saw Mary get up quickly and go out. They followed her because they thought that she was going to the tomb to weep there. When Mary came where Jesus was and saw him, she knelt at his feet and said to him, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her also weeping, he was greatly disturbed in spirit and deeply moved. He said, "Where have you laid him?" They said to him, "Lord, come and see." Jesus began to weep. So the Jews said, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Then Jesus, again greatly disturbed, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone was lying against it. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, "Lord, already there's a stench because he's been dead 4 days." Jesus said to her, "Did I not tell you that if you believed, you'd see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone, and Jesus looked upward and said, "Father, I thank you for having heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I've said this for the sake of the crowd standing here so that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, he cried with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, his hands and feet bound with strips of cloth and his face wrapped in a cloth. Jesus said to them, "Unbind him and let him go." So we'll stop there. It's a longer kind of reading. I apologize for that. Hopefully it was meaningful to hear a little bit of scripture this morning. And what I just wanted us to point out and let you think about today as you begin your day is again, we can call this the raising of Lazarus, which is two verses, a commentator pointed out this week. But we could also call it Martha and Mary grieve. We could also call it disappointment in the divine, or doubting the divine, or we could call it Jesus weeps. There's all sorts of things we could call it, and depending on what we focus on, might lead us to a different, depending on what character we're looking at in the story, might lead us to a different sort of focus. And I wanted to point that out because I just think it's important to acknowledge what we bring to a Bible text, preconceived notions, what we're hoping to read, what we're hoping to see, and everything. Even the titles in the Bible, like my Bible has little titles, yours maybe does as well. That says Jesus raises Lazarus, the plot to kill Jesus. Mary anoints Jesus, the plot to kill Lazarus. And those sort of grab a hold of our minds and push us in a direction. And that's good, but also Mary and Martha offer a wonderful um, wonderful vision, I think. And by wonderful, I just mean real. It's authentic and it's real, and it gives me permission, and I think it gives you permission to be who you are, and be where you're at in your faith, and not force some something that maybe isn't there, because like I said at the beginning, our faith doesn't rest and rely on miracles, and quite often we don't get miracles, and it seems like miracles are that's why they're miracles. They don't happen very much. They're not the norm. They're a miracle. So we live in that space. And Mary and Martha's grief, Mary and Martha's authenticity with Jesus, expressing anger and faith amidst a hard situation and a hard future. I like that. I find that comforting and a blessing on this day and many others when things might be hard for you or might be challenging for you. So think about that, and think then about your Lord's response. He acknowledged them and he wept for them and with them, and entered into however they were feeling, um, and know that God does the same for you too. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you tomorrow.